My name is Arjun. I am from Maryland in the US. I'm 16 years old, and I came to China both for studying and research and have found it to be quite meaningful on both fronts. I began studying Chinese in 7th grade, so back when I was about 12, I'd say. And then since then I've kept it up through high school classes. I am doing, I think, what they call the standard individual course, which means you have the one-on-one classes. Though mine has a bit of a change because and that's something you can do when it's an individual class rather than a group one. I have class for half of the day, and then the other half I have off, whether that means that I'm going to have a meeting with someone to do my research, or whether I just want to travel around Beijing, see sights, explore. That arrangement worked out really well for my purposes, and I think it's a good way to both learn Chinese and learn about the city itself. But I wanted something where I could build a relationship with my teacher, and we could focus on things not necessarily just focused on the school's based curriculum, but also get into my interests. So like my teachers and I've gotten them to talk to me about different Chinese political things. She prints out articles and we read through those. And then oftentimes we get into debates about Chinese versus US foreign policy. And I feel that that's been great because I can both practice and I learn a lot more about China, its culture, and the views of its people. In comparison to back in the US, where since it's a group, the teacher really sets the pace because she wants to make sure that we're moving at a speed where people are learning new things, but at the same time you aren't leaving people behind. And that's understandable when you have a group. But what's nice about the individual courses is that when it's just you and the teacher, he or she can focus entirely on you. So if I know this subject matter, like I've learned it back at home, then we can breeze through it. Whereas if this particular section is giving me more trouble, then we can break it down and go through more slowly. I think the one moment that really epitomizes the change for me was I was going into the Temple of Heaven, Tiantan, and this guy came up to me and he asked me, "Do you speak English?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Do you speak Chinese?" I said, "Yes." And then he was like, "Can you help me find my driver? My driver's on the phone with me, but I can't speak Chinese." And I said, "Sure." And I got on the phone with the driver and I was able to direct him to pick up the guy. And it was just, back in the US, I never would have had the confidence to even attempt such a thing. I would have been the one asking someone to help me. And I think just because you're speaking Chinese so much more, you're forced to, then it becomes less of a daunting task to have a conversation in Chinese. You begin more comfortable putting together sentences, your ideas start formulating Chinese structured sentences, and it's definitely an improvement that honestly goes beyond something that I could have foreseen back in the US.